My people, in today's tutorial, I will be showing you easy method to make this gorgeous bell sleeve bubu dress. It is classy, comfortable and beginner friendly. You can make this dress in few minutes. Just follow me, watch this video till the end and believe me, you will sew it like a pro. Oh yeah, let's start. Sharp sharp. I'll be making use of 2 yards of crepe fabric. The fabric is by 60 inches in length. If you're making use of Ankara, that is African print, 2.5 or 3 yards should be enough for this style, depending on your body size though. I will start by folding the fabric into 2 equal parts. Then I'll fold again into 4 to have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? This part is on fold. So I'm going to be using the part that is on fold. So the first thing I will have to do is to mark the full length of my dress. Alright? Plus hemming allowance. I have 35 inches plus 2 inches hemming allowance. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark 37 inches as the full length of my dress. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. I'm working with shoulder measurement of 14 divided by 2 will give me 7. Alright. So the next thing to do is to mark the chest line. From the shoulder line, I'll mark the chest line measurements. My chest line is 7.5. So I'll mark down 7.5. To get your chest line measurement, divide your bust measurement by 6 plus 1.5, okay? So this is the chest line. I'll also mark my shoulder to waist half length. After that, I'm going to be marking the waist to hip line. This is the hip line. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark my basic neckline. To get the basic neckline, divide your bust measurement by 12. So mine is 3. I'm going to be marking 3 inches as my basic neckline, okay? And then shoulder slope of 1 inch. Then I'll connect from my basic neckline to the shoulder slope. After that, the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the armhole curve. So to get your armhole curve, divide what you have left from the shoulder slope to the chest line by 2. At that point, you're going to come in by ½ inch and then create your armhole curve. So this is what I have now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the bust circumference divided by 4. My bust is 36 inches divided by 4. It gives me 9. I'll mark down 9. Then I'll add extra 1 inch for ease. You can add 2 inches depending on how free you want the dress to be on your body. Okay, so I'm adding just 1 inch because I don't want mine to be very free. I'll come to the waistline and mark my waist measurement divided by 4. Okay, my waist measurement is 28 divided by 4 is 7, so I'll mark down 7 and I'll also add 1 inch for ease. And I'll come to the hip line and mark the hip circumference divided by 4 plus 1 inch for ease as well. All right, I'll have to connect the points. I'll come to the hemline and take this measurement down to the hemline. But I want my dress to have a kind of A-line shape. So because of that, I'm going to come to the hemline and mark extra 1 inch to form kind of A-line shape. Then I'll come here and mark the back neckline. I have back neckline of 1 inch. So this is what I have now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to add seam allowance, okay? So I'll come to the shoulder line and add ½ inch as the joining seam allowance for the shoulder. Then I'll come to the armhole and add ½ inch as well too for the joining seam allowance. Then for the side, I'll also add 1 inch side seam allowance. You can add more if you want, okay? And I'll come to the hip line and also mark extra 1 inch side seam allowance. Then you have to blend out these points. I'll go ahead now and cut. So what I'm going to do now is to take out one piece, right? That will serve as the back. So I'll come here and mark 2.5. You can mark 3. You can still mark 2 inches if you don't want it too wide. So this is what I have now. So what I'm going to do now is to join the shoulder lines together. I'll go ahead now and join the shoulder lines together with that half-inch joining seam allowance that I have. I have joined the two shoulders together. Can you see? So this is what it looks like after joining the two shoulders. So what we are going to do next is to measure the neckline. You're going to start measuring from hemline. Then you measure all around the neckline. So I have 81 inches here. I went on to cut a long pieces above 81 inches. Mine is about 85 inches so that I could have it very long. I had to join mine so that I can be able to get a very long piece. 3 inches unfold. This is unfold. So if you open it up, you have 6 inches. Okay. So I have 3 inches here. All right. Why I have 3 inches is because I trimmed out 2.5. I also went ahead to fold it into 2. I used the iron to fold it into 2 so that this line will be visible. So you get the midpoint and open it up. Can you see? And then from the middle point of the piece, I'll mark down 13 inches, right? So this is 13 inches. You can mark down 14 or 12, depending on the depth of the front neckline. If you want the front neckline to be deeper than 13 inches, you can mark more than 13 inches, okay? I want mine to start from 13 inches. So I'll go over to my sewing machine now and stitch from this 13 inches down to the hemline, okay? As you are stitching, make sure that they are equal so that you stitch at the middle point, okay? So after stitching on that line, this is what I have. I stitched from that 13 inches that I marked from the midpoint down to the hemline, right? So after that, the next thing we are going to do now is to flip to the right side because this is the wrong side. So you carefully flip to the right side, okay? All right. So you flip to the right side. So this is what you're going to have, all right? So I'll flip to the wrong side again so that we can do it one more time. So this is how it was before. So I'll carefully bring them together to the right side. Just bring them together. Just fold it back. Fold each one back and you have this. Go on and give it a good press. So what I'm going to do now is to get the midpoint of the back and notch it. So this is the midpoint of the back. I will get the long strap and then from the joining, I will also fix it to the middle of the back. This is the middle of the long strap. Go on and pin the long piece all around the neckline down to the hemline on both sides with the right sides of the fabrics facing each other. After pinning, this is what you're going to have. I'll go over to my sewing machine now and I'll stitch from this point to the neckline and then to the other side. All right. After joining the piece to it, this is what I have. So I'll have to trim off the remaining piece at the hemline. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut out the sleeves, okay? I'll measure the armhole. I have 10 inches, so I'm going to be using 10 inches to get the round sleeve. So I have my fabric here. I'll fold it into 4 pieces to get the 2 sleeves. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to get my sleeve length. I'm working with sleeve length measurement of 24 inches plus allowance, hemming allowance, okay? I have 25. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark down that 10 inches that we got from the armhole measurement, okay? And after that, I'm going to mark my sleeve cap height, okay? To get your sleeve cap height, divide your bust by 12 plus 1, okay? So now I have my sleeve cap height here. So this is the sleeve cap height. That is my bicep line. I'm going to draw out a straight line to meet the sleeve length, okay? Then from that point, I will divide what I have there by 2, okay? And I will also divide from here to here by 2 as well. And I will divide the other parts by 2 as well. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 points now. So at this point, I'm going to mark in half inch, all right, at the first point. Then I'll curve from bicep line, that is the sleeve cap height line, and connect to that half inch, all right, on the second point. Then on the third point, I'm going to maintain that point like so. Then on this point, I'll mark half inch up above that line, all right, and connect. And I'll connect to the sleeve length. All right, this is what I have now as my basic sleeve. So I'll cut. I'll be marking down this measurement down to my hemline. I have 10 inches, but because I want a bell sleeve, so I'm going to be marking extra 2 inches at the hemline and then connect to the sleeve measurement. If you want yours to be wider at the down part, you can widen it as much as you want. So this is how I want mine to be. I'm going to go over to my sewing machine now and fix the sleeve on the dress. Don't forget to also hem the your sleeves, okay? I have already fixed the sleeves. Can you see? So the next thing we are going to do now is to join the back and the front pieces together by the sides, okay? So I'll bring them together. I'll pin them down. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to insert the loop, okay, for by the sides. So I'll come to the waistline. If you can remember, this is our half length. So I'll come on the half length line and mark 2 inches above the half length and then 2 inches below the half length. I'm going to be fixing one at that 2 inches up above the waistline, and then on the waistline I'll fix one, and on the 2 inches below the waistline I'll also fix one loop. To get the loop, just cut out a long piece of about 2 inches or 1.5 and then fold in like so. Can you see? I folded the two sides in by half inch, then fold again and then run a straight stitch. That is how I got the loop. So because I have 1 inch as my side seam allowance, I'm going to be cutting out 4 inches here. All right, so I'll cut 4 inches into 3 pieces. So these 3 will be for one side and then 3 for the other side. So I'll come there and insert the loop like so into my dress, and then I'll pin it down on that line that I marked. Then insert the second one on the waistline. Insert the third one as well. I have already marked the side seam allowance for this side, so I'll mark the side seam allowance for the other side. I have 1 inch as the side seam allowance, so I'll mark it down. I'm going to go over to my sewing machine now and stitch from the sleeve, okay? I will also mark down 1 inch on the sleeve and stitch from the sleeve to the bust area down to the hemline on both sides, okay? So now this is how the dress looks like after stitching on the 1 inch side marking. I also went ahead to hem the hemline, okay? So this is what I have. If I flip to the right, this is what I have. And I went ahead to make the rope for the snatching of the waist, okay? And now our dress is ready. I'll go on now and give it a good press with my hot iron. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Turn on your notification bell so that anytime I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified. You can also share this video to your sew mates or any sewing group that you think might find this helpful. See you in the next video.